As we age, subtle changes often creep in quietly: blurry vision in the morning, tired-looking eyes, or even that persistent feeling of strain after a night's sleep. Most people shrug it off as just aging. But what if I told you that science suggests something far more hopeful? That a simple, evidence-based evening habit could support your eye health, reduce oxidative stress, and help you wake up with clearer, brighter eyes, even after 60. The truth is, aging is not a one-way street. Our cells, our tissues, and yes, even our eyes respond powerfully to the right signals we give them. The choices we make before bed can either accelerate cellular damage or activate the body's natural repair systems. Tonight, I want to share with you a scientifically grounded, practical habit that works in harmony with your body's circadian rhythms and metabolic health. It's not a magic pill, but rather a smart, research-backed approach that leverages what we know about longevity and eye physiology. Because the goal isn't just to live longer, it's to live better with vision that keeps us connected to the world and the people we love. As we cross the age of 60, our eyes begin to tell a story, not just of the life we've lived, but of the countless cellular battles happening silently within them. Many people believe that blurry vision in the morning, a sense of cloudiness, or the gradual loss of visual sharpness is simply an inevitable part of getting older, but science paints a much clearer picture. These changes, often blamed on aging, are in large part driven by a biological process known as oxidative stress, and here's the surprising part: it's not entirely beyond our control. Oxidative stress occurs when there's an imbalance between free radicals, those unstable molecules generated during normal metabolism, and the antioxidants that neutralize them. In youth, our bodies manage this balance with remarkable efficiency, but as we grow older, the system falters. Mitochondria, the tiny powerhouses inside our cells, become less efficient and produce more reactive oxygen species as byproducts. Over time, these reactive molecules damage proteins, lipids, and even DNA in the cells of the eye. The lens, for example, which is responsible for focusing light onto the retina, is particularly vulnerable. When proteins in the lens undergo oxidative damage, they lose their precise structure, clump together, and scatter light instead of transmitting it cleanly. This is one of the early molecular changes that can eventually lead to cataracts, the leading cause of vision impairment with age. Similarly, the retina, a thin layer of cells at the back of the eye that senses light and sends signals to the brain, accumulates oxidative damage as well. This contributes to age-related macular degeneration, another common cause of vision loss. What's fascinating is how oxidative stress doesn't just damage one component of the eye. It sets off a cascade. Damaged cells release inflammatory signals, recruiting the immune system to the scene. While inflammation is part of healing, chronic, low-grade inflammation, which often accompanies oxidative stress in aging tissues, becomes destructive rather than protective. It's a bit like firefighters using too much water and flooding the building they came to save. Now, why focus on the nighttime? Here's where it gets interesting. During sleep, your body enters its most powerful phase of cellular repair. Studies show that antioxidant systems peak during this period. DNA repair ramps up and tissues undergo maintenance and detoxification. The eyes, like the rest of the body, rely on this nightly window to clear out damaged proteins, regenerate photoreceptor cells, and restore energy reserves for the day ahead. But if oxidative stress is overwhelming, or if lifestyle factors like poor diet, lack of sleep, and high blood sugar are adding fuel to the fire, the night may not be long enough or efficient enough for repair to keep pace with damage. That's why many people over 60 wake up with eyes that feel tired, dry, or blurry, not just because they slept poorly, but because at a molecular level their eyes are losing the battle between repair and damage each night. Scientists have explored this in great detail. For instance, research published in Investigative Ophthalmology and Visual Science shows that oxidative stress plays a central role in age-related macular degeneration, particularly through mitochondrial dysfunction in retinal pigment epithelial cells. Other studies reveal that antioxidants like glutathione, the body's master antioxidant, decline significantly with age, leaving tissues like the lens and retina vulnerable. The good news? This isn't the end of the story. Oxidative stress might be inevitable as we age, but how much damage it causes is highly influenced by our choices. Diet, lifestyle, and even simple evening habits can tip the balance back toward repair. For example, eating foods rich in antioxidants, such as berries, leafy greens, and omega-3 rich fish, has been linked in multiple studies to lower risk of age-related eye diseases. Similarly, maintaining stable blood sugar levels through intermittent fasting or reduced late-night snacking can lower the oxidative burden on the body overnight. High blood sugar accelerates the production of advanced glycation end products, AGEs, which not only harm blood vessels, but also increase oxidative stress in delicate tissues like the retina. Another factor is light exposure before bed. The retina is highly sensitive to blue light from screens, and excessive evening exposure can increase oxidative stress and disrupt circadian rhythms, impairing the body's ability to carry out nighttime repair. That's why many eye specialists now recommend reducing screen time at least 1 to 2 hours before sleep, or using blue light blocking settings on devices. Finally, there's sleep itself. Deep, restorative sleep activates the brain's glymphatic system, a kind of overnight cleansing mechanism that removes metabolic waste from the central nervous system, including the optic nerves and retina. Poor sleep quality means this system doesn't function optimally, allowing oxidative byproducts to linger and damage tissues further. So the story of oxidative stress and aging eyes isn't just about decline, it's about opportunity. By reducing sources of oxidative stress before bed and supporting the body's natural repair systems during sleep, we can slow and in some cases even partially reverse the processes that lead to morning vision problems and long-term eye disease. It's a powerful reminder that aging isn't something that simply happens to us. It's something we can influence, one choice, one habit, one evening at a time. And the first step is understanding that what we do before we sleep, what we eat, what we expose our eyes to, and how we prepare our bodies for rest sets the stage for whether our eyes wake up refreshed and clear or tired and clouded. The research is clear. Reducing oxidative stress isn't just good for longevity in general, it's essential for keeping the windows to our world, our eyes healthy and vibrant well into our later years. One of the most overlooked aspects of aging, especially after 60, is hydration. We often talk about nutrition, exercise, and even sleep, but water, the simplest and most fundamental element of life, rarely gets the attention it deserves. Yet the connection between hydration and eye health is profound. The eyes are among the most water-dependent tissues in the body. The cornea, the clear front layer of the eye, is nearly 80% water. The vitreous humor, the gel-like substance filling the eye's interior, relies on water balance to maintain the right shape and pressure for vision to remain crisp and accurate. And even the tear film, the thin protective layer that keeps the surface of the eye smooth, is heavily influenced by hydration status. When water levels drop, every one of these components suffers, and the result is often dry, irritated, or blurry eyes, especially noticeable in the morning after hours of sleep. But the role of hydration goes beyond simple lubrication. At the cellular level, water is essential for maintaining the delicate balance of electrolytes and nutrients that keep eye tissues functioning properly. When the body is even mildly dehydrated, the osmotic balance in the eyes shifts. The tear film, for example, becomes hyperosmolar, meaning it contains too many salts relative to water, which irritates the cornea and triggers inflammation. Over time, this low-grade inflammation can contribute to degenerative eye changes, something we see increasingly with age. The challenge after 60 is that our sense of thirst declines significantly. This is a well-documented phenomenon in aging research. Older adults often don't feel thirsty even when their bodies need water. The kidneys too become less efficient at conserving water, meaning we lose fluids more quickly than we did in our younger years. It's a perfect storm for dehydration, one that creeps in silently and affects not just the eyes but nearly every organ system. Now, here's where the nighttime connection comes in. During sleep, we naturally lose fluids through respiration and perspiration. We breathe out water vapor all night, and the average person can lose nearly a liter of water in 8 hours without realizing it. For someone already starting the evening in a mildly dehydrated state, this means waking up with concentrated tears, dry eyes, and sometimes even corneal swelling that blurs vision temporarily. It's why many people over 60 describe that morning fog in their eyes, a haziness that often improves after breakfast or a glass of water. But research suggests that strategic hydration before bed can make a difference. I say strategic because chugging a large glass of water right before sleep isn't ideal. It often leads to nighttime awakenings to use the bathroom, which then fragments sleep and interferes with the very repair processes we want to support. Instead, what seems to work better is consistent hydration throughout the day, tapering in the evening, but still allowing for a moderate amount of water, perhaps a small glass, about an hour before bed. This timing supports the overnight water needs of the body without overloading the bladder. Interestingly, some studies have examined the use of specific electrolytes before bed, particularly magnesium and potassium, to help maintain better cellular hydration overnight. Both minerals help balance fluids inside and outside cells, and deficiencies, which are common in older adults, can worsen dehydration symptoms, including those affecting the eyes. Foods like leafy greens, avocados, and nuts, consumed earlier in the day, provide a natural source of these electrolytes, while magnesium supplements taken in the evening can also promote muscle relaxation and better sleep, offering dual benefits. Beyond water itself, certain compounds help the eyes retain moisture. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in fish oil and flax seeds, have been shown in randomized clinical trials to improve symptoms of dry eye disease, partly by reducing inflammation in the meibomian glands, tiny structures in the eyelids that produce the oily layer of tears. Without enough of this oil, tears evaporate too quickly, leading to dry, irritated eyes. Hydration alone won't fix this. The tear film needs both water and oil in balance. So a bedtime routine that includes omega-3 rich foods at dinner or a supplement taken earlier in the evening can support the lipid layer of the tear film overnight. Another factor is blood sugar control. High blood glucose levels increase the osmotic pressure in tissues, pulling water out of cells and contributing to dehydration. This is particularly relevant for people with diabetes or prediabetes, conditions that become more common with age and have well-known effects on eye health, including diabetic retinopathy. Stabilizing blood sugar through low glycemic meals at dinner and avoiding late-night sugary snacks can therefore indirectly improve overnight hydration and protect the eyes. What about topical hydration? Artificial tears. Artificial tears or lubricating eye drops before bed can provide immediate relief for people struggling with dry eyes. However, research shows that addressing internal hydration has longer-lasting effects than relying solely on external solutions. It's a bit like watering the roots of a plant rather than just misting the leaves. Real health comes from within. Finally, let's talk about alcohol and caffeine, two common evening habits that work directly against hydration. Both are diuretics, meaning they increase fluid loss through urine. A glass of wine with dinner or a late-night cup of tea might not seem significant, but for someone already prone to dehydration, these can tip the scales in the wrong direction. Replacing them with herbal teas or simply water in the evening hours can make a measurable difference in how refreshed and clear the eyes feel come morning. The takeaway here is simple but powerful. Hydration isn't just about quenching thirst. It's a foundational aspect of cellular health, vision quality, and aging well. For those over 60, paying attention to when and how we hydrate, supporting the body with fluids, electrolytes, healthy fats, and stable blood sugar can transform not only how our eyes feel in the morning, but also how resilient they remain over the years. Aging may change the rules, but it doesn't erase our ability to play the game wisely. One of the most fascinating discoveries in the past 2 decades of aging research is that nearly every cell in the human body follows a circadian rhythm, a biological clock that operates on roughly a 24-hour cycle. This clock doesn't just dictate when we feel awake or sleepy. It regulates when our cells grow, repair themselves, and even when they switch on the genes responsible for fighting aging and disease. For the eyes, this internal timing system is especially critical because vision depends on the health of tissues that are highly metabolically active, like the retina and optic nerve. The retina, for instance, consumes more oxygen per gram of tissue than almost any other part of the body. All day long, it is bombarded by light, processing visual information and dealing with the oxidative stress that comes with high-energy light exposure. As the sun sets and darkness falls, the eye's cellular machinery begins to shift gears. This is when repair processes are supposed to dominate, clearing out damaged proteins, restoring energy reserves, and preparing the tissue for another day of intense activity. But here's the challenge. As we age, circadian rhythms tend to weaken. The signals that once tightly controlled day and night cycles become less synchronized. Studies have shown that the master clock in the brain, located in the suprachiasmatic nucleus, loses precision with age. The result? Our tissues become out of sync, repair processes become less efficient, and damage accumulates faster than the body can handle. For the eyes, this means that the nightly maintenance window becomes shorter and less effective, leading to the morning symptoms many people over 60 describe: tired eyes, blurry vision, or even worsening conditions like age-related macular degeneration. What's especially interesting is how tightly circadian rhythms are connected to metabolism. When we eat, when we sleep, and even when we're exposed to light, all influence the body's internal clock. For instance, eating late at night sends signals to peripheral clocks in organs like the liver and eyes that conflict with the brain's master clock, leading to what scientists call circadian misalignment. Research shows this misalignment increases oxidative stress and inflammation, accelerates cellular aging, and disrupts the production of critical molecules like melatonin, which not only regulates sleep but also acts as a powerful antioxidant in the eyes. In fact, melatonin is a perfect example of how circadian biology links directly to eye health. At night, melatonin levels rise naturally, protecting retinal cells from oxidative damage and supporting DNA repair. But exposure to blue light from screens in the evening suppresses melatonin production, leaving the retina vulnerable at precisely the time it should be recovering. This is why experts now emphasize reducing screen time at least 1 to 2 hours before bed, or using blue light blocking filters if evening screen use is unavoidable. Beyond light exposure, sleep itself plays a central role in circadian-controlled repair. During deep sleep stages, the body activates its glymphatic system, a sort of cleaning crew that clears metabolic waste products from the brain and optic nerves. Recent studies suggest that impaired glymphatic function may contribute to diseases like glaucoma and even neurodegenerative conditions such as Alzheimer's, both of which become more common with age. When sleep quality declines, as it often does after 60, this nightly cleansing process suffers, and the buildup of cellular waste accelerates aging in both the eyes and the brain. But the good news, as always in longevity science, is that circadian rhythms can be strengthened. Simple lifestyle interventions can help restore the alignment between our internal clocks and the external world, improving not only overall health, but specifically eye health. One of the most powerful tools is light exposure, but at the right times. Getting bright natural light in the morning helps reset the master clock in the brain, reinforcing healthy rhythms and improving nighttime melatonin production. Conversely, dimming lights in the evening signals to the body that it's time to transition toward rest and repair. Meal timing is another critical factor. Research in time-restricted eating, a form of intermittent fasting, shows that finishing dinner earlier in the evening improves circadian alignment and metabolic health. For the eyes, this means that energy-demanding processes like digestion don't compete with nighttime repair cycles. When the body isn't busy processing food at midnight, it can focus on clearing oxidative byproducts and repairing damaged proteins in the retina and lens. Interestingly, some studies suggest that certain longevity pathways, like those involving sirtuins, the same family of genes my lab has studied for years, are regulated by circadian rhythms. Sirtuins play a key role in DNA repair, mitochondrial function, and resistance to oxidative stress, all of which are critical for maintaining eye health. Activating these pathways through practices like intermittent fasting, exercise, and even compounds like resveratrol seems to work best when aligned with circadian biology, further highlighting how timing matters just as much as the intervention itself. And then there's sleep duration and quality. People often assume that simply spending more hours in bed is enough, but the depth and continuity of sleep matter far more than total time. Fragmented sleep, waking up multiple times at night, disrupts circadian-controlled hormone release and limits the time spent in the deep sleep stages when glymphatic clearance and cellular repair peak. Strategies like keeping a consistent bedtime, reducing caffeine intake after noon, and maintaining a cool, dark bedroom environment have all been shown to improve sleep quality, thereby enhancing the body's ability to repair the eyes and other tissues overnight. The big picture here is that our eyes are not passive victims of aging. They are dynamic tissues, highly responsive to the signals we send through our daily habits. By respecting circadian rhythms, Aligning light exposure, meal timing, and sleep patterns with our biology, we give our eyes the best chance to repair, regenerate, and stay healthy well into later life. Aging may weaken the body's internal clocks, but science is teaching us how to reset them, keeping not just our vision but our entire physiology younger for longer. Nutrition is one of the most powerful levers we have over the aging process, and nowhere is this more evident than in the health of our eyes. The eye, particularly the retina, is an extraordinarily energy-demanding organ, requiring a constant supply of nutrients to maintain its complex structure and function. Yet, as we age, oxidative stress and inflammation increase, while the efficiency of nutrient delivery to eye tissues begins to decline. The result is a slow, steady erosion of cellular resilience, unless we actively intervene with the right diet and lifestyle habits. One of the most consistent findings in aging research is the protective role of antioxidants. These molecules neutralize free radicals before they can damage DNA, proteins, and lipids in our cells. In the eyes, oxidative damage is a key driver of conditions like cataracts, macular degeneration, and even glaucoma. For example, studies show that reactive oxygen species produced in the mitochondria of retinal cells directly contribute to the breakdown of photoreceptors, the very cells that allow us to see. Once these cells are gone, they cannot regenerate, making prevention critical. This is where nutrition before sleep becomes particularly important. During the night, our body enters its most intensive phase of cellular repair. Damaged proteins are degraded, DNA lesions are corrected, and new mitochondria are formed in a process called mitochondrial biogenesis. Providing the body with the right nutrients before this repair window ensures that it has the raw materials and molecular tools it needs to do the job effectively. Take vitamin C, for instance. The eye contains some of the highest concentrations of vitamin C in the entire body, especially in the aqueous humor, the fluid that bathes the lens and cornea. This is no accident. Vitamin C is a powerful water-soluble antioxidant that directly neutralizes free radicals generated by UV light and normal metabolic processes. Research published in Ophthalmology has shown that individuals with higher dietary vitamin C intake have a significantly lower risk of developing cataracts, highlighting how nutrition influences long-term eye health. Consuming vitamin C-rich foods like berries, citrus fruits, or even a small serving of kiwi in the evening provides the eye with a protective buffer as it enters its nightly repair phase. Then there's vitamin E, a fat-soluble antioxidant that integrates into cell membranes, protecting them from oxidative damage. The retina, rich in polyunsaturated fatty acids, is especially vulnerable to lipid peroxidation, a chain reaction where free radicals damage cell membrane fats, leading to cell death. Vitamin E interrupts this chain reaction, preserving the integrity of retinal cells. Nuts, seeds, and small amounts of avocado at dinner or as an early evening snack deliver vitamin E in a form the body can readily use overnight. Lutein and zeaxanthin, two carotenoids found in leafy greens like spinach and kale, deserve special mention. They accumulate in the macula, the central part of the retina responsible for sharp, detailed vision, acting as natural blue light filters and antioxidants. These compounds protect photoreceptor cells from both light-induced and metabolic oxidative damage. Multiple clinical trials, including the well-known AREDS 2 age-related eye disease study 2, have shown that higher intake of lutein and zeaxanthin is associated with reduced progression of age-related macular degeneration. Having a salad with spinach or a side of sautéed kale at dinner is more than just healthy eating, it's a direct investment in the longevity of your vision. Omega-3 fatty acids, particularly DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, are another cornerstone of eye health. DHA is a structural component of retinal cell membranes, supporting both the fluidity and function of photoreceptor cells. It also has anti-inflammatory properties, reducing the chronic low-grade inflammation that accelerates aging in the eyes. Clinical studies have linked higher omega-3 intake with lower rates of dry eye disease and even slower progression of macular degeneration. Including fatty fish like salmon at dinner or taking a high-quality fish oil supplement earlier in the evening supplies the building blocks the eyes need for overnight repair. But it's not just about what to eat. Timing matters too. Eating a heavy, high-sugar meal right before bed spikes blood glucose and insulin levels, which not only disrupts circadian rhythms, but also increases oxidative stress throughout the body. High blood sugar leads to the formation of advanced glycation end products, AGs, molecules that stiffen tissues, damage proteins, and impair cellular repair mechanisms. The lens of the eye is particularly vulnerable to glycation, and studies show that AGs contribute directly to cataract formation. By contrast, a light, nutrient-dense evening meal stabilizes blood sugar and provides the antioxidants and minerals needed for effective nighttime recovery. Interestingly, certain polyphenols, plant compounds found in foods like berries, green tea, and dark chocolate, activate longevity pathways involving sirtuins and AMPK, cellular sensors that enhance mitochondrial health and stress resistance. My own research on compounds like resveratrol, found in red grapes and peanuts, suggests they mimic some of the effects of calorie restriction, boosting cellular defenses against oxidative damage. Consuming polyphenol-rich foods earlier in the evening may therefore prime the body's repair systems before the overnight fasting period begins. Hydration, discussed earlier, also intersects with nutrition here. Many antioxidant reactions require a well-hydrated cellular environment to function optimally. For example, vitamin C circulates in the aqueous phase of cells and tissues, while vitamin E operates in lipid membranes. Without adequate water intake, the distribution and effectiveness of these nutrients decline, leaving tissues like the cornea and lens vulnerable. Finally, let's not forget the role of protein. The lens and cornea rely on structural proteins like collagen for strength and transparency. During aging, collagen becomes increasingly cross-linked and damaged, contributing to lens stiffness and opacities. Providing adequate amino acids through lean proteins like fish, legumes, or a small portion of poultry at dinner supports the synthesis and repair of these critical structural components overnight. The central message here is simple but profound. The food choices we make before bed can either fuel oxidative damage or arm our bodies with the defenses needed to counteract it. By emphasizing antioxidants, healthy fats, and stable blood sugar, we align nutrition with the body's natural repair cycles. Over time, these seemingly small decisions compound, preserving not only our vision, but the cellular vitality that underpins healthy aging across all systems. When people think about preserving their vision after 60, they often jump straight to supplements, medications, or even surgery. Yet, some of the most powerful tools for protecting the eyes, especially overnight, come not from a pill or a procedure, but from the simple, consistent habits we build into our evenings. Lifestyle is a form of medicine, and nowhere is this more true than in the delicate balance between aging, vision health, and the nightly repair cycles that our bodies rely on to stay resilient. The eyes are not isolated organs, they are deeply interconnected with the entire body's circadian rhythms, metabolic health, and inflammatory status. What happens in the hours before we go to bed can either prepare our eyes for effective repair, or conversely add to the burden of damage they must endure. This is where lifestyle tweaks become so powerful, because small changes done consistently have cumulative effects over months and years. And when it comes to preserving vision clarity and preventing age-related decline, consistency beats intensity every time. One of the simplest but most overlooked factors is light exposure. We live in a world where evening hours are filled with artificial light, much of it in the blue spectrum, emitted by LEDs, smartphones, and computer screens. The problem is that our retinas are exquisitely sensitive to this light. Specialized cells called intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells, EPRGCs, detect blue light and send signals directly to the brain's circadian clock. Under natural conditions, this system evolved to track the sun, bright blue light during the day, darkness at night. But when we flood our evenings with artificial blue light, the circadian clock becomes confused. Why does this matter for the eyes? Two reasons. First, blue light in the evening suppresses melatonin production. And melatonin is not just a sleep hormone, it is also a potent antioxidant in the retina. At night, rising melatonin levels help neutralize the oxidative stress accumulated during the day. Lower melatonin means less nighttime repair and more residual damage lingering into the next day. Second, evening light exposure delays the onset of deep restorative sleep, reducing the time spent in the stages of sleep where cellular cleanup and regeneration peak. Over time, this combination accelerates aging in retinal tissues and may contribute to diseases like macular degeneration. The solution isn't to abandon technology, but to manage it wisely. Dimming household lights after sunset, using night mode settings on screens, or wearing blue light blocking glasses in the evening can dramatically reduce retinal light stress and protect circadian rhythms. Some people also find it helpful to establish a digital sunset, a time perhaps an hour before bed when screens go off and the body transitions toward rest. The difference in sleep quality and morning eye comfort can be surprisingly profound. Another lifestyle factor is sleep position. Most people don't realize that how they sleep can influence eye pressure, tear distribution, and even the risk of certain eye conditions. Studies have shown that sleeping face down or on one side for prolonged periods can increase intraocular pressure, a risk factor for glaucoma, particularly if the same side is favored night after night. For those with dry eye disease, sleeping under a ceiling fan or near a vent can worsen overnight evaporation of the tear film, leading to morning irritation. Simple adjustments, like sleeping on your back with proper head support and keeping bedroom air slightly humidified, can alleviate these stresses and improve morning eye comfort. Speaking of air quality, indoor environments often become drier in the evening, especially during winter or in air-conditioned homes. Low humidity accelerates tear evaporation, leaving the eyes unprotected overnight. A small bedside humidifier can maintain moisture in the air, supporting the tear film and preventing that gritty burning sensation many older adults feel upon waking. For people with persistent dryness, applying lubricating eye ointments or gels before bed creates a protective barrier that lasts through the night. Stress management also plays a role in nighttime eye health. Chronic stress elevates cortisol levels, and high cortisol has been linked to increased intraocular pressure and impaired blood flow to the optic nerve. Evening relaxation practices, whether deep breathing, gentle stretching, or even short meditation sessions, help lower cortisol, supporting both sleep quality and ocular circulation. Good blood flow is essential because the retina has one of the highest metabolic demands of any tissue in the body. Without adequate oxygen and nutrient delivery during sleep, repair processes cannot function optimally. Alcohol and caffeine, common evening indulgences, deserve special mention. Alcohol may help some people fall asleep faster, but it fragments sleep architecture, reducing time in deep and REM stages. Caffeine, even consumed 6 hours before bed, can delay sleep onset and reduce total sleep time. Both substances also have diuretic effects, increasing fluid loss and potentially worsening overnight dehydration, which affects tear quality and eye comfort. Limiting alcohol to moderate amounts and avoiding caffeine after mid-afternoon are simple but effective steps for protecting both sleep and eye health. Finally, regular physical activity, though not right before bed, has indirect but significant benefits for nighttime eye repair. Exercise improves cardiovascular health, reduces systemic inflammation, and enhances insulin sensitivity, all of which support the microvascular networks that supply the eyes. People who exercise regularly also tend to experience deeper, more restorative sleep, giving the eyes a longer and more effective repair window each night. Just be sure to schedule exercise earlier in the day. Late evening workouts can raise core body temperature and delay the natural melatonin rise that signals bedtime. What ties all these lifestyle tweaks together is the concept of synergy. No single habit is a magic bullet, but when combined, dimming evening lights, maintaining bedroom humidity, managing stress, limiting alcohol and caffeine, supporting good sleep posture, and exercising regularly, they create an environment where the body's natural repair systems can function at full capacity. The eyes, with their high metabolic demands and sensitivity to oxidative stress, benefit enormously from this kind of holistic support. Aging may bring new challenges, but it also brings the wisdom to approach health proactively. By making small, intentional choices each evening, we can protect our vision, preserve the clarity of our eyes, and ultimately maintain the independence and quality of life that clear sight affords us well into our later years.